Good morning, Desert Sands Unified School District. This is Sean Webb. I'm your Director of Community Engagement, as well as your Director of the Educational Foundation. Welcome to Classroom Conversations, where we engage the Desert Sands Unified School District community. We've got a really exciting show today. A couple things. We're going to have Bianca Rae joining us. I've known her, I've been working with her since late 2013, early 2014. I reached out to her on social media. It was pretty awesome how I just kind of reach out to her, and we're going to talk about how we connected at first and how she's been everything involved with Desert Sands and the foundation and the school district and the many different schools we have. So that's pretty exciting. But before we get to that, I want to bring on Chef Mary with us, as we always do. She's our lovely co-host. But let's go ahead and grab Mary here. And good morning, Chef Mary. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. It's a Thursday. It's actually my Friday, I think. It's beautiful out here. About bird feed yesterday. Got all the birds all fed. They're all happy because I was gone for a little bit. But it's beautiful today. It is 73 already this morning,
Okay.
and blue skies. And the guys are working on this beautiful house up the street, and they're playing wonderful music. So it's like the hills are alive with the sound of music when they come around. Super nice guys. Just a nice community to live in. It's just
Okay.
easy. Um, so nothing exciting going on. I'm working from home a little bit, which is kind of nice, and being able to use some brain power, doing some menu corrections and some costing for this upcoming winter season,
Okay.
which is kind of exciting. I like that part of my job, so it's good. It's really good.
Awesome, awesome. As if people aren't aware, this is just our fourth episode that we've been on the Desert Sands format. But Chef Mary, just give a quick, 30-second. How are you associated with Desert Sands Unified School District and so forth?
Well, I was lucky enough years ago to pick up a newspaper article talking about Dr. Tucker's Pro Start competition. And I had been in Germany in 2000 for the California Culinary Olympic competition and had done a lot of judging and food preparation. And for like 4 years, you practice for 4 years before you actually go to the event. Called Mrs. Tucker, said, "Hey, do you take volunteers?" She said, "Yes, come over." Years later, I ran into you. You offered me a position as the culinary instructor or kitchen instructor, whatever we're going to call it. And there I was until I retired 2 years ago.
Okay.
So it's been a great ride, a huge ride.
And I'll say it's been an amazing ride. And the many times that we did events together, I'll be the first to say we got to the point where we were making money for the school, but we didn't know the official way to how to make money and where that money was supposed to go. And if you
Exactly.
remember that the first time that we ever did events and so forth, we had to partner with the Desert Sands Educational Foundation because I'll say that a lot of schools don't actually have the nonprofit arm where they can go ahead and accept those funds legally. But luckily, Desert Sands had the Educational Foundation, where I'm the director of it now, and they were able to help us out, and we were able to utilize them to legally accept funds so we can make them accessible for the school and so forth. And real quick, Mary, before we go on, like I said, the Desert Sands Educational Foundation was great for accepting those funds. I want to read our mission statement because I think this is very important. The Desert Sands Educational Foundation secures funding and awards money to provide supplemental resources that enrich and enhance student learning and DSUSD. And we do that with working with community partners. And that's kind of one of the reason we're here today. We're going to talk to one of our biggest supporters and community partners.
I know.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
Well, I think in conjunction with the foundation, it also allowed us to pull in other charitable events that we were able to distribute funds to them as well. From the Cancer Society, the Diabetes Society, and then we did a pet shelter. I think we did a
Yep.
pet shelter once.
A couple times we worked with animal shelters and so forth in Coachella Valley. We worked with the American Diabetes Association and those places as
Yeah.
well. But I did pull together. You know me, I love technology. I'm having fun. I just started the StreamYard process with us and so forth. But I pulled together some pictures. You got to love Google Photos and everything. I tell you what, I fully sync my phone with Google Photos to my personal account, and what it does, it takes the photos, it puts it right onto Google Photos, and it'll even categorize them by the face and everything. So literally, I just typed in the name Bianca, came up with her face, picked out a couple of photos and hit video, and boom, here we go. So I want to show you a little bit of the reason why Bianca Rae is with us today. Let me go ahead and pull this video up here, Mary. Here we go. We're at the mercy of technology every now and then. You gotta love that. So I'll just give that a second here. But I will say that the picture that you're seeing there was a picture of the first event that Bianca and I worked together at La Quinta High School with the culinary facility. It was called the Black Hawk Showdown. And during those events, we would invite our, you could say they're celebrity chefs from the desert to come participate and so forth and be in those events. And it was just pretty fantastic where they would work with our students in the career technical education program, and they would work with them in the real life environment of what's going on. And hold on here, I think I got the video ready to go. Gotta love that this is always happening live too, Mary, right? Okay.
Behind the scenes people.
Yeah, exactly. Let me try that again. I just hit the reset of the video here.
We are those people. We're the front of the house and the back of the house.
I tell you what, I feel like I'm doing front, back, left, and right over here with the computer. Yeah, and we'll go to present, and there we go. And go figure, when we got a news anchor on with us, I got to have issues here, right? Mary, I want to confirm you can hear that. Look at that. Doesn't want to get past that first picture. I think it's Chef Scott's fault.
Exactly. Yeah, get him out of there. Hey, it's his birthday.
Yeah, give me 1 second.
Well, you know, while you're loading that up, Sean, I'll give them some information about how Bianca interfaced with us. She was our MC, and then she also encouraged some of her other students to join her as an MC.
Very true, very true. You know what, Mary, we're gonna just, why don't you share a little bit more about that? I think that'll be some of our best things.
Yeah, so Bianca encouraged some of our students to join her and be a co-anchor and speak to our group, and there'd be 60 to 80 people there, plus, our company of chefs and friends and students that were working in the back. And we always assigned 4 students to each chef, so they could kind of pick and choose who they wanted to work with. And once that happened, usually those chefs hired them. So, and then Bianca toward the end would talk to each student and encourage them to say something about the program or how they liked the program or what they were going to do. And she really encouraged them to have a voice. Some of them would say, oh no, they wouldn't say anything. And then pretty soon somebody would talk a whole lot, and then you'd have to get them stop for a little bit, and they gave us their whole life story. But she knew how to bring them in and then how to sort of move on to the next person. And that really made the program nice toward the end, and then to recognize our chefs and some of the other dignitaries in the audience, and because everyone was paying to be there as part of our fundraiser. So that was really special. It took the load off us a little bit too.
You know what? She took the load off me completely. It got to the point where the first couple times I was running around and I was sweating, and I didn't want to be around the food because I think I would probably contaminate it. And then it got to the point where the kids are helping me write scripts and everything, and we give it to Bianca, and then most of the time she would take the script, and she was so good at it, she would just run with it. But enough about you and me talking about her. Before we have her come on, we want to mention that her mom's watching. This is going to be awesome. Hey Barbara, how you doing? I feel like I got a little role reversal today. Just so you know, Chef Mary and I have been doing this is our 24th time, and after about episode 3, it was pretty easy. And this is the first time I've sweat since episode 3 because I got your daughter on here. I'm a little bit nervous because we actually have a news anchor. But without any more information from us, let's bring on Bianca Rae. Good morning, Bianca. How are you doing?
Good morning. I have to say, don't feel bad about the tech issues because Jeff Bezos was like on mute for some of the tech hearing yesterday. So
okay.
It happens to the best of us. It does. And then
okay,
I think I was like 22 in that picture that you showed.
Yeah,
Oh
you
my
were. I want to say that was
God.
6 years ago.
Yeah. Gosh,
We
it's
were,
so good to see you both.
we were all
Oh,
much
it's
younger.
Yeah.
so Bianca, how have you been?
I'm good. I mean, gosh, I'm here in LA now in my apartment here in Playa Vista. It's been a crazy few months for all of us. I mean,
Yeah.
from my end, things actually did not slow down. I'm grateful to have still had a job, and things definitely sped up and got a lot busier for sure. It's, I mean, from that very first day, my co-anchor and I, we've been in studio every single day. We're still doing the 5 o'clock news every night. The way everything looks changes a little bit, but what we're really doing hasn't. I mean, we no longer have hair and makeup teams, all of that, right? Not everybody's in the building. We have this huge, beautiful studio facility, our newsroom, and there's a lot of people normally because we have a news network and a sports network, right? The Dodgers network and Lakers.
Right.
But there's just a handful of people. So I mean, I love our coworkers, I love our family, and we're not all there. So it looks different, right? But what we've been doing has really not changed. I mean, it's the same thing, which, and I'm gonna obviously speak so highly of Spectrum because I love it. But I mean, from day one, before the pandemic, we were telling these hyper local stories that nobody else was telling, right? All over LA, all over Southern California, going into communities, interviewing small business owners, people that normally don't get their stories told. And I think that's why everybody loves Spectrum. And that's still, what we're doing still. And now those stories are more important than ever because these people are struggling and wanting their voices to be heard at a time when everyone's just, it's tough, but we're just trying to carry on, right? Doing our storytelling and kind of almost being that calming voice when I know I hear so many people say, I hate turning on the news and I see the death toll and the numbers. And we say, this is just facts. Like, here's what you need to know, but here's the stories. It's not so much about the numbers. We don't really go over like positivity rate. We don't do that every night. We are telling the stories of how that positivity rate is impacting people in the community, right?
Right. And I'll tell you, that's kind of the reason why Mary and I got into this is we wanted to start telling the story about Desert Sands and all the great things that are going on.
Yeah.
And some of the first episodes of me going live, I was at working with nutritional services because the meal distribution. We had Dan Capello, our director, on the other day. 1.2 million meals have been served to our students since March 13th. And we wanted to make sure that gets out there and that people are aware of everything that's going on. So we see completely with that. We jumped right into everything going on. How are you doing and so forth. But maybe can you tell the viewers that are watching and the people that will be watching in the future, how are you associated with Desert Sands? How are you associated with Desert Sands Educational Foundation?
Yeah, so I moved to the desert right out of college when I was 22, became a news reporter out for the station in Palm Springs, and eventually worked my way up to anchoring there. And I spent almost a decade in the desert. And throughout that time, I loved the community, and I still do, but I was such a part of it, right? I was emceeing so many events. And I think actually like the first event I ever emceed was one of the Black Hawk Showdowns. So what Sean was talking about earlier, where basically they had, Battle of the Chefs, 2 cool chefs came in, cooked a bunch of food, people paid money to sit in the audience and eat it. And all that money raised goes to charities or the school district. And it was like every other Thursday, is that right? during summertime.
So it was during the summertime, and I remember the first summer we had 4 of them.
Yeah. So I would go in and I would, be the MC, and kind of carry us all on through the evening. And that kind of got me into what I call the Desert Sands family, and just you all were such, took me in, so to speak. And that, eventually it snowballed my involvement, I guess my want, my desire to be there for these kids all over the community. I would do a lot of career days, going and speaking at schools and telling kids my story, encouraging to listen to theirs. And that kind of turned into some mentorship with kids. And I think one of your students, remember, was having a jewelry line. She asked me to wear her jewelry on air. And I think that I just remember little things like that I think made her feel special, and rightfully so. And I think, Chef Mary, you were saying that I listen to these kids, and I was thinking about that. And I am I'm a product of so much love from my parents and this family that always made me feel special. And every little thing, you know, I did or my sister did, we were made to feel special and made to feel like we can do anything. And that's, thank you, Mom, who I know is watching. But I know many kids don't have that at home. They don't have that structure, that guidance, that mentorship. And I think it goes a long way just even talking to a child, whether it's a teacher, a public figure, what have you, giving them that attention, asking to hear their story. And I mean, it's the journalist in me saying, I think anybody wants their story to be told. I mean, that's the reason why, you know, you go to a burning building, you go to a shooting happening on a street, all of that. And there's always that neighbor, right, that's wanting to share their story. I mean, it's kind of become like a news cliche, but it's true. Like there's always somebody who feels like they have a story to tell and they want to share it. And exactly. That keeps the journalism world going around. And that's our job, to share those stories. And I love getting to help those kids, you know, feel special.
And I'll say that just to tell everybody here, I reached out to Bianca just on social media with a message on Facebook. And it's funny, every now and then I'll scroll all the way and see it. And it was back in 2013. And just asking her, I said, I remember you were doing the Eye in the Desert and you were doing all the foodie stuff. So I made sure to reach out and I said, hey, we got a foodie thing going on. And next thing you know it, our students are then doing great events. They're getting jobs. They're getting, jobs at the La Quinta Resort. They're getting jobs at all the major resorts out here.
Yeah,
and
sure.
I want to thank you, and Mary can thank you also, I'm sure. If it weren't for our connection with you and you helping us, getting us out there, things like us being volunteered and asked to volunteer at multiple events, the American Cancer Society, the American Diabetes Association, the Pendleton Foundation, you name it, it just goes on, and the Bianca Rae Foundation, you know, it just goes on and on. We were able to, working with you, it just escalated us even faster. And I just thank you for that. And you taught these kids that they could do anything. And next thing you know it, like I said, our kids are working with these executive chefs. They're getting jobs. Like one of our kids saw it in themselves to go get a job out at the racetrack. And he's now doing food out there, and he's also working the automotive part. You know, it's because of you encouraging them to do those types of things. So thank you very much. And with that, we also raised a lot of money together. And I'll share with everybody, Mary. You remember our first season, we raised over $20,000 in those 4 events, and those were for the dishes, for the kitchen.
Yeah, and I think we were the only group that was in the black, you know, of all of the other, technical education groups, that we actually had money that was ours to spend. But I think with Bianca as well, it was nice for the kids to know who you were. And if they saw you on TV or they saw somewhere, you know, they would come back and they had ownership of, they knew you. They said, oh, we know her. She's been in our school. And I think that's kind of important, that they have that feeling that they know someone outside their own comfort zone. And then when you came in, they were happy to see you, and they would tell me, they said, oh, I talked to Bianca. And one day I remember you came in with some jeans or something on, and one of the girls came back and, man, she's just got jeans like ours. And so it was amazing, what they connect to you with, that it made you like a true person for them to be around, and they were comfortable. I remember Andrew. He was one of your co-anchors for a while.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. How is he doing? Oh.
He's taking classes at College of the Desert. He's well on to his, I believe, his associate's degree. I'm not sure the career path he's doing, but if you remember, he once said when we're emceeing, he once said that he wanted to be president. I could see that happening.
This is the year to slide right in.
Yeah.
So cute.
Yeah.
But well, first of all, Scott, our superintendent, just texted me. Hello. So hello. I think we're gonna maybe talk to him a little bit. But hi, Scott. He's so amazing, so supportive. It's interesting, Chef Mary, you say that, and I've always been very intrigued and fascinated by the intersection between celebrity and influence. And it's interesting now, in my new role here at Spectrum, I have a series, and this is amazing, I get to do this, but it's called Passion Project, where I specifically interview celebrities who have their own nonprofits or they're ambassadors for nonprofits. Because for some reason, and the psychology behind it is incredible, but for some reason, when you see Katy Perry wearing a certain lipstick, you want it. Or when you see Katy Perry volunteering with a nonprofit, they get a bunch of likes. I mean, that's just the way of the world, right or wrong, it's the way of the world. And to the foundation point, I realized at a younger age, like me telling these little girls, you know, bullying is not a reflection of you, it's a reflection of them. Or me telling these little girls, wash your makeup at the end of the night, like it's, you know, it was different than their mom. And I'm no Katy Perry, but in Palm Springs, newscasters are celebrities, right? It's a small town and you are. So there was something about me telling these kids that like power of influence that I noticed. And on a bigger scale, that's what I love highlighting too, because that influence is happening all over the world. And, but yeah, I think that's maybe why these kids felt special when I, you know, interacted with them. And that's amazing to me. And that's why I love this job. I mean, I love journalism and I love telling the stories, but I love the platform it gives me to do things like this, right?
Maybe if you could share a little bit about the platform that you've developed with your organization and so forth.
Yeah, I mean, I realized when I moved to the desert, I started volunteering at an animal shelter. That's when I met, you know, my little dog, Jack. And I quickly wanted to raise money. I thought I wanted to raise money for this, you know, rundown animal shelter. And I didn't know the first thing about raising money. You know, my family, we didn't grow up going to like galas and balls and all of that. I just started meeting with a lot of people, found out like, okay, let's have this luncheon. And we raised a little money, but that turned into me getting all these books, including Nonprofits for Dummies, which was very helpful, by the way.
I might have to buy that.
Yes, yes. And just meeting with mentors. I mean, one of my biggest mentors in the desert actually has told me, he said, once a month, you should take somebody to coffee who's smarter than you that you want to learn from. And I mean, think about that. Like I did that for 8 years and those people truly shaped my life, but I still to this day live by that. But it got to the point where as I was thinking about creating this foundation to have more impact with not just animals, but children, both of my passions, I realized everybody was saying yes. When I asked for a coffee, people would say yes. When I asked for a donation, people would say yes. And I mean, I'm sure some of it I do believe is I'm a very genuine, I'm a nice girl. Like I had nice intentions, but I'm sure also some of it is I was in the media and right? I mean, people want to be involved with that. Like I know that. And I thought like, wait, I could plan an event. I could get as many donations as needed. I could raise significant money for these kids or these animals. And the platform started small. I was a reporter, right? And it grew. I remember becoming weekend anchor, and then I remember getting promoted to morning anchor, and it was about like maybe 2 months in that I really I remember that change of just obviously you're more visible, right? People are seeing you Monday through Friday for 4 hours straight every morning, and I do remember that feeling of whether it's more followers on social media or more calls coming to you or more yeses. I just thought, wait, now I have an even larger platform. And yeah, the foundation is 2 verticals, our work with animals and our work with children. On the animal front, we have annual adoption events and we, you know, use our power of connectivity and bring all these animal shelters together and really highly market and publicize these events to get people to come and attend and get excited about adoption, right? I mean, that's the thing. I feel like my gift is I can get people excited about something, whether it's because of my personality, my heart, or also my platform. And I want to get them excited about adoption. We also did a lot of transports, right, to the no-kill shelter up in Oregon. Yeah. And then the other side of it is the Ray of Hope retreat for middle school kids. And it started as, a small retreat for 100 or so girls. And it's now become, we do for boys and girls, these leadership retreats. We've had 2,000 kids attend over the course of 6 years. And I mean, Sean, you've been there. You guys, Chef Mary, you guys make all of our muffins for us. I mean,
we did the first year. Yeah.
A part of it. Could not do it without you, and moreover, wouldn't want to, but definitely couldn't. And yeah, I mean, these kids attend different breakout groups where they learn about leadership and anti-bullying and self-esteem building. And I mean, sadly, and it's still, I woke up in the middle of the night because of the earthquake. Obviously, did you guys feel it out there?
No, I didn't feel an earthquake.
Okay, an earthquake. Breaking news. It was in. Sorry, minutes to come out, but it happened around 4:30, and obviously it took a while to go back to bed. And I laid there thinking, it is still weighing on me that we're not doing a retreat this year. Right. And obviously we can't because of the guidelines. I mean, we have 500 people, right? 400 kids plus 100 volunteers. Yeah. You can't legally. and morally and health-wise, all the above, have an event of that size right now, which it would be in a few months. But it's still, it's hard. That's my baby, you know. There are obviously other things the foundation's been doing, which I know you wanted to talk about.
I'll say that because of our relationship, you've invited me onto that retreat board, and I thank you for that. It's been fantastic to be a part of that and help with the planning of that and putting that together. But with that being said, I know that we were all excited for the first ever joint retreat with middle school boys and girls that was going to happen in November, and we know that can't happen. But there's been other great ways that you've been helping out the community right now, and there's two people that are backstage that I want to bring on with us that have something they want to say to you. Okay, so I want to bring them on. Coming to the screen right now, we have Superintendent Scott Bailey, and then we also have Assistant Superintendent of Educational Services, Dr. Kelly Mae Vollmer. How you guys doing?
Excellent, thank you.
Very well.
And
how are you?
Doing well, thank you.
Good to see you guys.
It's great to see you too. Hi, Chef Mary. Hi, Bianca.
So we were just talking with Bianca about all the great things that our foundation has been doing in the community, and unfortunately we can't have the middle school retreat this year. But maybe if you could, Dr. Kelly Mae Vollmer, I think you have something to share.
I do. I was backstage, so I got to listen to all the conversation prior to the big reveal, I guess, of us popping onto the screen. But I just wanted to take a second being here just to thank Bianca for the work that you've done all across the Coachella Valley and beyond, of course. But I think, one of the things that's so amazing is just to hear you talk about the passion for what you do. And it certainly has always shown through. I mean, even going back, you were all talking a little bit earlier about the Blackhawk showdowns and you emceeing those events, and your connection to the community and your care for the community, being someone in attendance watching, has always come through. And I just love that about you. And you mentioned the Ray of Hope Foundation for our middle school students. We can't wait till that can come back, because it's so meaningful for those students. And we value that as an educational entity, knowing that we have that partnership with you, that we have a really great place to send our kids to get some incredible learning around leadership and self-esteem and anti-bullying. And so really appreciate your work there. But mostly I wanted to be here today because you recently made a donation through the foundation to Desert Sands for connectivity for some of our students. We are very, very fortunate in Desert Sands in that we have our own LTE network, which supplies internet connectivity to almost all of the kids that need it. But there are a very small few, that live in places that the signal can't quite get to. So your donation to provide some hotspots for those students absolutely makes a tremendous difference for the students, for the teachers, for the parents. So I just wanted to say thank you so much for that donation. It means a lot to us.
Thank you, guys. You're so sweet. Thank you. I was glad to get to do it. Sean knows I reached out to him. I'm like, yes. I think it was even before they announced school like officially was going to be virtual, right? Yeah. And I was like, wait. At first I thought, can we try to buy these kids iPads? I wasn't remembering completely all the, in the desert that they had it, which is amazing. And I think the hardest part about the pandemic for me, I mean, there's so many, it's local businesses, it's health, it's everything. For me, I've always felt this pull towards kids. And I think when I think of like the kids that school is their outlet, school is their time away from an abusive or neglective home, whether it's their hot meals or just like love from that teacher, it really hurts, So when I thought, okay, well, they need to have some sort of like education continuing at home. And wait, I have to plug in my computer charger, you guys. Hold on, I'm sorry.
That's too funny.
In the biz improv.
Right.
Dr. Mae Vollmer, maybe you can assist Bianca with that.
I know, right? We got you covered, Bianca, no problem.
Okay, there we go. So it's like painful to think about the kids that are missing out on so much personal and emotional growth from school that, okay, we can't really be giving them that now. At least like, let's make sure they have some sort of connection to these teachers to hopefully even get, a smidgen of that still. And No, Sean, maybe we can even continue, doing more over the next few months too, as more donations, talking with my donors keep happening.
It's so funny you say that. I came in and I've been going to the office every now and then, and my office is over in technology, and I've met with the technology guys when I've seen them in passing and so forth. And I told them what's going on, and they just said that's amazing, that's fantastic. And they actually told me that they have need for about 25 more for families up in the North Indio area, in the Indio Hills area, and so forth. So I have it down there in the bottom that if you want to donate, you can also email me. But I'm putting in the comment section right now the website if you want to go ahead and donate direct for that fund. That would be fantastic. And for people that are listening, it's we're working with T-Mobile. It's $20 a month per family, and it'll provide them with Wi-Fi for the whole year, $220. So thank you again.
That's awesome.
That's amazing. Yeah,
so people, it's as simple as if they even just want to sponsor one family, right, Sean? They can just reach out to you guys. That would be, I know so many people are looking for ways to help people that are very fortunate and have not been impacted, financially by the pandemic. I would encourage maybe local businesses too, if we want to do a match to, what we did. And I'd love to kind of keep that going.
That would be fantastic. No, I'll definitely be in contact with you on that. And Mr. Bailey, do you have
They
anything
could do
you'd
it.
like to share with Bianca? Oh,
They could do Adopt a Connection.
What'd you say?
Adopt a connection. I like that.
I could do
Rather
called
than
Adopt a
adopting dogs
Connection.
with Bianca, we're Adopt a Connection.
Love it. There you go. For $20, that's pretty cheap. So, Mr. Bailey, what have you been doing?
Oh, working. I miss seeing you, Chef Mary, over in the La Quinta kitchen, but it's great to connect virtually. And Bianca, same thing. Long-lasting members of our Desert Sands family. It's so wonderful to see you again. I really appreciate the opportunity, Sean, to connect through your event today. Bianca, I just want you to know, even though you're a few miles away from us, your presence is always felt here in the Valley. Really appreciate the foundation you built, and it truly is a foundation. What you do, you have done, and what you continue to do, it's definitely laying a solid foundation on which students can grow. So thank you for all your efforts, and I really appreciate Dr. Ballmer's comments about how inspirational you are. You're just like a candle that's always glowing. We're very much attracted to that and want to spread the good news that you offer. So thank you for your continued support. Not many people know this probably, but Bianca was kind enough to serve as a goldfish for us in our innovations contest. And a lot of people ask, what is a goldfish? Well, a goldfish is a kinder, gentler approach. Excellent imitation, by the way. Shirt color. It's a kinder, gentler approach to the Shark Tank. It's our innovations contest in the school district, whereas we renamed a shark to a goldfish, again, to lessen the aggression, if you will, that some people perceive with a shark. So it's a kinder, gentler approach. And Bianca, we've continued the contest virtually. So we had to innovate, if you will, amidst the emergency school closures. So like I say, Bianca leaves legacy here, as does Chef Mary. Really, really appreciate all that you do. And I definitely miss not being able to join you and supporting your cause here locally in the physical sense. So I look forward to the days when we can rejoin in that manner.
I miss you guys, and you're all literally always show up for all of our fundraiser events, and you're there. It's just, it's amazing to feel that confidence, knowing that there's people that, will show up for you and be there. And thank you for giving me the confidence to keep doing all of this. Big virtual hug.
Mr. Bailey. I always loved it when you and your wife would come through our line when we were doing the Blackhawk showdowns. It was just it was a confirmation of what we were doing, that you supported us and that you brought your family and everybody got to say hello. And, in a way you kind of feel like your own celebrity. Everybody's coming through. Hi, how are you? How are you? But at the end of the night, it was just a nice feeling that we had your support and the board and some of the local council people that would come through. It was really, really appreciated. And I think it was good for the students to see you in person and to see that you have family and that you came to an event and you were just not a name. or something they heard over, the communication system. So I don't know if I ever told you, but it was just greatly appreciated. And I was always glad to see you guys there.
And I always tell the kids that my mom is my best friend, and I always encourage them to have that relationship with a family member, if they can. And I've always been candid with them about that.
And by the way, your mom is still watching. She just
she
commented again and mentioned that she was great.
My mom was crying.
Hi, Mom.
Yeah.
And you guys, we are still, just for people watching who may not know, the Bianca Rae Foundation does still do work in the deserts. The goal, of course, someday would be to expand as well, but we will always have our roots in the desert. My mom and dad actually are going to be retiring there. I will always have a place in the desert. My heart will always be there. So we'll always continue to, when we are able to, after the pandemic, when we get out to the other side, fingers crossed, prayers, we'll start doing more of our in-person events, and I know I'll get to see all of you.
Yeah, we can't wait to see you too, Bianca. Thank you for taking the time to be with us this morning. We greatly appreciate it.
Thank you guys for having me. And Sean, you're really, really good at this whole hosting biz,
It's a lot of fun. Like I said, it wasn't until I had you on where I started to sweat. I thought I had this down pat.
That's a compliment coming from Bianca.
Yes, definitely.
Tell us about your star on Palm Canyon Boulevard.
Oh gosh.
They can always go and visit your star.
Oh, that was one of the best days of my life so far. Yeah, it was June 2nd, 2017, right? The 416th star. My mom, dad, my sister, everybody was there. It was kind of like the only wedding I've had so far. I had Jack in a tuxedo, and it was like, I wore white, Jack wore a tuxedo. It was like my wedding to date. And it was so special. I mean, gosh, yeah, like I remember saying this, but I love the glitz and the glam that comes along with my job. I love being on TV. I love all of that. I didn't choose to work in print. I love, the aspect that comes with red carpets and television media and the excitement and all of that. But I love the platform that it gives me, and it wouldn't be enough to just have one without the other. And being able to do things like that and have the word humanitarian on there meant so much, and I would only hope, my goal, I feel like the larger maybe my platform can keep getting, right? If my career keeps growing, then just the more I could do. And that's what I hope to be able to do. And I do need to get back. I haven't seen it in so long. Jack, my friend Jack, who owns all the restaurants, Maracas and the Slice Pizzeria, he always jokes. He's like, I'll shine your star when I walk out of the Maracas restaurant.
Too funny. Well, Dr. Kelly Mae Vollmer and Mr. Bailey, I know that you guys got to get on a 9:45. I just want to thank you again for coming on with this morning. I know that you guys are extremely busy with the opening of virtual school and so forth, but thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
It's good to see you.
Listen, you guys.
Person soon.
Yes.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Oh, that was
Bianca,
fun, wasn't it? You get to reconnect.
Have Bianca tell the story, because I know she told us this about how she became Bianca Rae and not your last name.
Yeah, please do.
Like a little kid or something.
Yeah, so my real last name is Goutos. It's Greek, so my name is Bianca Rae Goutos. And when I was a little girl, I always dreamed about going to California and, hoping to be on TV and to have that experience. And I made a poem, because I do write poems, and I did write poems. And it was called Bianca Rae, and it was about how I would change my name if I ever got on TV. I mean, it's so funny. I think I was like 12, maybe even younger than that. But I remember one of the verses is like, Bianca Rae is what they'll call me. Bianca Rae will be my name. And when I grow up, no one else's name will be the same. So I hope there's no Bianca Raes out there.
That's pretty awesome. I remember you telling that story.
It took a while to get my social media handle. There are some other Bianca Raes, but I'm grateful for whoever let me have the Bianca Rae social handle.
Well, we have a Madison Rae in our family.
Really? Yeah.
R-A-E, same spelling.
That's so funny. And my I was gonna say my teachers, I think it was maybe like 5 or so Christmases ago, I was home in Chicago and I met with my middle school teacher. Oh, hi, Lily. Thank you so much.
I know she's one of your longtime volunteers, so I wanted to make sure to put that up there. Her
so sweet. Thank you, Lily. One of my middle school teachers told me that she's like, you were always the kid, and I don't really remember this, but like wanting to like help other kids with their homework. And I'm like, they probably found that so annoying. And I'm sorry to all the kids I went to school with that. Like, she's like, well, you were 8 and you'd be doing your homework, and then you'd walk over to someone else's desk and be like, can I help you? And I'm like, everybody hated that girl. Like, oh my gosh. Obviously I had good intentions, but that sounds so annoying. And I'm sorry to anybody I did that to. But it was just funny that she was just saying that like it was just nice to hear that, because I don't remember having that necessarily, I know how I feel now about helping people. And I mean, even going back to high school, but at that young age, I guess I don't really remember, So it was just kind of nice hearing like, oh, I guess we all really do. You could probably tell from a young age who's going to grow up and do, right?
Right. me hearing that story, I would think you're maybe going to education. But I know that your mom was involved with education and so forth, being a teacher's aide as well as teaching Sunday school, correct?
Yeah, she was a teacher's aide. She teaches religious education still to this day. She volunteers and does it. And she taught my sister and I our religious education classes all growing up. And then she still does it every week now, volunteering at our church. So that's interesting. I know my sister wanted to be a teacher, but she ended up becoming an attorney. But I guess it's like always, it was on my path to do something with kids.
Right, definitely. So you see, you have one more comment there from Lisa Marie Ryerson. Good morning.
Oh, she is like, Lisa is my right hand for the Bianca Rae Foundation, and she is like boss woman, just gets so much done, and she's amazing. Yep. Also a dear friend. That's the thing. It's interesting, and I love it this way. I feel like so many of my close friends are the people that help me run the foundation. We've become, from volunteer to friend or friend to volunteer, whichever way it's gone. And it's just nice. I feel like it's so safe, and I trust everybody, and Lisa's amazing.
No, I'll flat out say that, from one Facebook message a couple years ago has now led to a great friendship that I have with you.
And that's Sean, to that point, you are not only on the planning committee for the retreat, and you make so much of that happen, but you're one of my best friends too, you and Tara.
Definitely.
Now you're beautiful, baby.
Thank you. It's awesome. It's awesome to have her, immediately see you, and she does this earlier. So it's pretty great. Oh, we have one more comment here. Then I want to make sure we get all the comments of the people that are watching here. This is Mr. Duke.
Oh, Mr. Duke.
A lot of our events.
Hi, Jim, Mr. Duke. That's great that you get Spectrum. Thank you for still watching. Yeah, for those who, I'm on every Monday through Friday, the 5 p.m. news. I anchor our evening news. So I appreciate you still watching. Yeah. I went from mornings to evenings.
I remember you used to get up at like 3 o'clock in the morning.
It's definitely nice to not get up in the middle of, but it's amazing.
Chef Mary, if you remember correct, when Bianca went to the morning shift over at KES at her previous station, that's when we had to move the showdowns to earlier times.
That's so funny. That's right.
We were at 7 o'clock where, everybody got out of work, kind of come on over, and we were finishing by like 9. And I remember having a conversation with Bianca, like, I can't go to bed at 9 if I'm getting up at 3.
I know. I was definitely like eating the early bird dinners. I'd go, at 5, meet friends for dinners at 5. And it's like you get used to it,
Of course. Now, Bianca, I know we're coming up on almost 45 minutes here. I do want to ask you, is there anything that you want to say, just a general message to the Coachella Valley, or just a general message to anybody that hasn't seen you in a while?
When I moved there, I remember I was so young, and I didn't know a soul in California. And I left this big safety net, big Greek Italian family, in the Midwest, in a suburb of Chicago. And I do remember it being scary, and I feel like you guys and so many people just took me in and immediately became this family for me. And, makes me get emotional, but it just made it not scary. And I feel like God has always put bumpers, like bowling bumpers in my life, that no matter where I've gone, I've met these people that have like been bumpers for me and kept me from, just going the wrong way or or just kept me on the right path and kind of kept me feeling safe on that path. And so many people in the desert were that for me. And I just feel grateful for that. And I will never forget that. And I'm a Capricorn, and loyalty is so important to me. And all of you who watched from the very beginning and still watch now that I'm in LA, it's like crazy saying that. I like always dreamed of getting to say that, so it's just exciting. And I'm so grateful for all of you guys. And I do miss you very much. I love it out here so much, but I miss everyone so much. I think about everyone so often, and I'm so excited to be able to come back and see you all. It's been way too long.
Yeah, I agree. The beautiful thing with FaceTime and technology, we've been able to see a lot of each other, probably more since you moved away. So I'm glad that
exactly.
Yeah.
I know I got my mom crying right now. She's probably like, "Oh my God."
No, your family's been great. Remember the time that Mary and I went to the National Restaurant Association conference in Chicago, and Tara and I made it a point to go meet up with your parents for dinner.
Yes.
Oh, it's just fantastic. You have an amazing family. I can see why you are the person you are. I'll just say that, most definitely.
Thank you.
Bianca, you touched on something that a teacher said about you, and I think that's really true. Like when you're in the classroom, you're trying to see students that are helping other people and encouraging them to be helpful. And I was taking care of my granddaughter a couple of days ago, and she came up to me, and she has a little friend who had a little accident eating and was nervous about eating. And she says, "Grammy, you have to just go buy some soup, because I don't want her to feel bad or be embarrassed that she's not going to have lunch when we have lunch." And she's 10. And I just about lost it. I thought, oh my gosh, here she is, worried about her little friend eating, and was willing to have the same lunch, which she didn't really want to have. But it was that same thing that you did with your homework. And I think that's sort of the platform that you build with your children to, like your parents did with you, to carry that on into your adult life and to things that you do, that you take the time to look around and make a difference. And so they saw that in you, and we saw that in you. We saw that in our school with challenging these students to stand beside you and speak to a huge audience. It was great.
And I would just encourage anybody too who's watching to, if you are interested, I always call it like the Sarah McLachlan effect. Like I know it's like seeing those commercials in black and white with the dogs. I hear so many people say they're too sad to watch, I have to click it off. Like I agree, they're so sad to watch. But I feel like we can't just like click it off. I feel like, see if there's something that all of us can do. I mean, and it sounds so cliche, but as a nonprofit founder, I literally know that $5 from 10 different people adds up, right? It's like, it sounds like not a lot, but we rely on that $5 because we'll get it from 10 different people, and that's great, right? Or 100 different people. So yeah, I mean, whatever you're able to do, I mean, just don't think that it's not enough, because if everybody's sitting there thinking it's not enough, then nothing will be done, So we always need volunteers. Sean always, like the school district, they always need something. So I would love to hear from you guys, either on social media, it's at Bianca Rae. You could email me, Bianca at the Bianca Rae Foundation. Whether you're in the LA area or Palm Springs, we're going to be doing stuff in both areas. So I'd love to hear from all of you.
And that's the beautiful thing about virtual events. We could do that. So with that being said, Bianca, thank you for taking the time this morning.
Yes, thank you.
It's been fantastic to catch up with you. And I look forward to seeing you on the news. I'm going to be going out of the town this weekend. We got a little escape to Big Bear, and I know that they have Spectrum, so I'll definitely be watching.
Great.
All right. All right. We'll see you later, Bianca. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Stay well.
So Mary, I'm upset that we couldn't get the technology working here. I'm going to try and get that going, because I also have some other fun things I want to share with you. We talked about, the Desert Sands Educational Foundation and how people are giving and so forth. Well, I posted something the other day. Do you remember what I posted? Mary, you there?
No, I'm sorry. No, I don't remember.
Okay, no, I posted about the UCAN report.
I know what you're talking about. Yes, the schedules and whatever.
Yeah, well, we talked about the schedules, but I want to share a little bit about, I have the beautiful part of my job is I get to work with the community, and the fact that the community gives a lot. And we worked with Kaiser Permanente. Beautiful Things, the Educational Foundation president, Patrick Hallison, he works with Kaiser, and they were able to get us 135 backpacks donated for our students. And it's pretty amazing. Not only these backpacks here, you know, just awesome, but they're full of like $50 worth of materials and so forth. Pretty cool to see that.
Yeah, that's awesome. When I worked for Honeywell back east, and this is conjunction with having people donate, one of our employees was a foster parent. And we had talking with them one day, and she said, well, a lot of people, they have foster children and there's not a lot of money and whatever. So we started a little foundation, and the first year we adopted like 4 families. And we went through that. We were an anonymous Santa Claus. We didn't want them to know where it came from. And we had them give us a list, and we all went shopping, and people donated things. And then somebody wanted a bicycle, and somebody had a bicycle. So pretty soon we had older bicycles that came in, and people repaired them and painted them and fixed them. Okay. And we did this for several years. And then we did a cookbook to raise more money. And it's these type of organizations that they want to do that. These people that probably donated these things wanted to have a place to do something of kindness, and we loved every minute of it. And to this day, I can still remember when we would take everything down, and no one knew who we were. We didn't get any kudos for it, but it was an inside feeling. And so that was the same. I'm looking at these backpacks going, someone had a lot of fun picking out which one they wanted.
Oh yeah, and the really cool thing is, so I got to pick them up. It took me 2 trips to fill the back of my SUV. But the real cool thing is, you see the little like tags that look like index cards. Those are all personalized messages from the doctors and from the nurses and the employees of Kaiser. It's just a personalized message from somebody who said, "Hey, have a great year, best of luck." I just thought that was amazing. Yeah. But I do want to try and play this video. Let's see if we can get this to work this time, because I think it's really valuable for people to see the involvement that we had with Bianca. But here we go. Can we hear it this time?
Yeah.
Perfect.
There's our old group.
Yeah.
They're sharing.
That was the first year there. You got to love Facebook memories, Mary. I didn't get to bring this up, but 4 years ago today, we had a showdown with Jennifer Town and Joy Domingo.
Our usual drum roll, please, everybody.
So I picked that video because it's actually the video of the first event that our superintendent ever attended in 2017. And not only did we feed people, we actually got dogs adopted as well.
Oh, there's Laura.
Yep. That's when we did the cookie showdown, remember?
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Each organization got about $1,000 that they raised.
Yep. We gave Bianca her coat.
Yep. And then you see Stephen Lee there. He was a master chef.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah, but because, like I said with her on screen earlier, because of her, we were able to get those great events and so forth. We worked with Stephen Lee, who was this finalist at Master Chef. Brooke Williamson from Top Chef. She came on and she had her whole family and come to an event. And,
exactly.
Yeah, and she came to work with our kids in our kitchen. And then I thought the pinnacle of us starting those Black Hawk Showdowns, Mary, was the Top Chef using our kitchen.
Oh my gosh, that was crazy. And then even helping Tony Marchese from Trios when they were doing the Food and Wine Festival, and we did all the prep for them. And we had some of the celebrity chefs come in. Was it Zach?
Yep.
The cake guy. And he came in, he was working with one of the students. They were making a cajillion pumpkin pie lava cakes, I think it was.
Carrot cake lava cake.
Carrot cake, yes.
Carrot lava cake, yeah.
It wasn't going very well.
Well, I do know that I got to taste it the next day, so it did turn out well. But Mary, we are coming up an hour. It never seems like that when I get to get on camera with you. It's been such a lovely morning catching up with one of our old friends, colleagues and so forth. As well as having the assistant superintendent and the superintendent join us. But very exciting for next week. We have, let's see, Tuesday. I'm still trying to line it up, but I think I'm going to put it out there. So really is going to make me push myself and I guess push myself to bother this person even more. But I think we may have the executive director of the YMCA on with us because remember
Oh,
we had a
awesome.
question about healthcare,
Yeah.
essential workers and so forth. So I may be able to get Paula Simons on with us. She's still working out her schedule to see if she can adjust and so forth. And then on Thursday, we're going to have Kelly McQuinn on. And Kelly McQuinn has a nonprofit in the desert. And what she does is she teaches everything science and STEM and STEAM education in a fun way. And she's going to share about that. And she just got a grant through the Anderson Children's Foundation, and she's going to
Oh,
share
wow.
about
Oh,
that.
that's right. I already told you that.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. So, Mary, I know I'll make sure to catch up with you this weekend when I'm up in Big Bear.
Sure. For sure.
And you be well, and we'll see you next Tuesday.
Okay. See you next Tuesday. Stay safe.
All right.
Bye.
Desert Sands Educational Foundation community, thank you for tuning in today. This is Sean Webb, your Director of Community Engagement and the Foundation. We'll see you later.